Okay, let's dig into this. Imagine your car, right? Instead of just sitting there, it's actually earning you money while you sleep even.
Yeah. Sounds almost too good to be true, doesn't it?
It really does. But this deep dive is looking at exactly that idea, using your personal car as, well, an income stream.
And we're focusing on source material about car sharing platforms. It's important to clarify this isn't about being an Uber driver or anything like that.
No, definitely not. And it's not the usual Hertz or Avis at the airport either.
Right. We're talking about those platforms people call the Airbnb of cars.
Yeah.
Like Turo, Getaround, HyreCar, that kind of thing.
Exactly. And you shared some really interesting material on this. So our goal today really is to understand how this actually works based on that source. What's the potential? And maybe most importantly, what are the risks it points out?
Okay, so the basic process, according to the source, is pretty simple. You sign up on one of these apps or websites.
Right.
You list your specific car, put in when it's available, set your price, and then people who need a car can rent it from you.
For like different amounts of time?
Yeah, anything really. Could be just a couple of hours for an errand, maybe a weekend trip, or even longer, like days or weeks if someone's in town for work.
And the source is clear. You don't need a whole bunch of cars to start this.
Not at all. You can just start with the car you already own, your personal vehicle.
Okay, so here's the part that probably gets everyone listening. The money. What does the source say about the potential return?
Well, this is where it gets interesting. The material we looked at says some owners are making pretty decent money. Figures like $500 up to maybe $2,000 a month.
Wow, hang on, $500 to $2,000 from one car. That's a huge range.
It is, and the source connects that strongly to location.
Ah, okay. Like where the car is based.
Exactly. Being near, say, airports or in really busy cities or even popular tourist spots, places with lots of people coming and going who might need a temporary car, that boosts demand and so potential earnings.
And the source presents this as real money people are making, not just theory.
Yeah, it talks about it as documented cash flow for people who are in those kinds of, advantageous situations.
Okay, but the immediate question, the one I'd have, is risk. What about letting a complete stranger drive my car? What does the source say about, like, insurance and damage?
That's a big one, for sure. The source material explains that typically during the actual rental period, the insurance is handled through the platform itself.
So if someone rents it and, uh-oh, there's an accident.
The platform's insurance generally kicks in, and damages are usually covered too.
Right.
But, and this is a big but, the source
Let
highlights.
me guess, read the fine print.
Exactly. You absolutely have to check the specific terms for whatever platform you're using because they can, vary quite a bit.
Makes sense.
But here's something interesting the source pointed out. Kind of surprised me, actually. It says the biggest risk for people starting out isn't really the insurance stuff because the platforms handle that mostly.
Okay, so what is it then?
It's not understanding pricing. That's where, the source argues, most new hosts mess up and don't make much money, or any at all.
Right, pricing. Why is that the main risk over, I don't know, someone damaging the car? Seems counterintuitive.
Well, think about it. The insurance part is sort of managed for you by the platform, mostly. But setting the price, that's all on you, the host.
I see.
And the source points out, if you price it way too high, nobody rents it. Zero income.
Yeah.
Price it too low, and you're going through all the hassle for, like, pocket change.
Yeah.
It's the bit you totally control, and it needs some thought.
Okay, so if pricing is the key hurdle, does the source give any, like, practical tips, especially for someone just starting?
It does. It suggests looking at what other similar cars, same make, model, year, roughly, are renting for on that same platform in your specific area.
Market research, basically.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And then the tip is when you first list your car, maybe set your price just a little bit under whatever that average seems to be.
To get noticed. Get those first few rentals in.
Precisely. The idea is it helps attract those initial renters. You start building some trust, get some positive reviews, hopefully, and those reviews, the source implies, are really important for visibility later on.
Okay, so pulling this all together. The main appeal, what the source keeps coming back to, is this idea of passive income, right?
Yeah, fundamentally, your car stops being just something that sits there costing you money.
And starts being something that potentially earns money while you're, I don't know, at your day job or sleeping or whatever else.
It's about using an asset that's often idle, making it productive instead of just, depreciating.
So thinking about the big picture here, the source really paints this image of taking something that usually just loses value over time, your car, and flipping that script, turning it into something that could actually generate cash flow.
It's a shift in perspective. So the next time you look out the window and see your car just sitting there,
Yeah.
the source kind of nudges you to think about that untapped potential. What
Mhm.
could it be doing?
Right. Maybe think about what a little bit of setup work, getting it listed, what that hustle could actually mean for how you view your car financially. Definitely food for thought.